Welcome back to KMIR-6 today. So right now we are talking about law and some legal cases that are going on here in the Coachella Valley. And John Patrick Dolan is joining us this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
JPD, welcome. Thank you. It's Monday. It's early, we understand.
No problem.
But let's talk about the Jackson family and Michael Jackson's death. What's going on there now?
Well, it's a civil case in Los Angeles that's just getting underway. The legal theory is negligent hiring. And what the Jackson family is saying is that AEG hired Dr. Conrad Murray, and he's the guy who eventually caused the death of Michael Jackson. The AEG folks are saying, well, hold on just a second. Michael Jackson chose this doctor. Michael Jackson insisted that this doctor be used. Michael Jackson wanted us to hire this doctor for his tour when we went over to London, but we never executed the contract, so he wasn't hired by us, and so we shouldn't have any liability. So there's some emails that have gone back and forth. There's some questions about whether or not you have a contract before it's actually officially executed. And of course, if it were possible to prove liability, the damages are massive because of all the money that could have been made by Michael Jackson. So it's a big case.
Yeah.
Another thing that's important about this case, at least noteworthy, is that they're not allowing it to be televised. Court TV would like to televise it. The judges said, sorry, it would create too much aggravation and publicity, so we're not going to do that. So it'll be interesting to see. It's a high-stakes game, a very thin question about whether or not there's liability on the part of AEG, but if they could get over that issue, huge damages.
And apparently his kids may be speaking out in the trial as well, right?
Yes, indeed, because of course they observed Dr. Murray and what he did in the home.
So do you think that's going to make a big impact?
Well, let's face it, jurors probably have a tendency to lean in the direction of Michael Jackson and his family, just people off the street, and so it'll be interesting to see what impact it does have. They're a very famous family, and their children are very famous and still a little bit cloistered. A lot of people don't see those children much, so it'll be interesting to see what impact they have on the jury. But frankly, big deal case.
What about the impact of the defense for Jodi Arias right now?
Well, they're into a professional witness, an expert witness, talking about domestic violence and whether or not she was a victim of domestic violence after the PSDT expert. So it'll be interesting to see. There are those who say that this defense is going on too long and the jury's getting sick of it. There are others who say that this is now helping to explain her sort of strange behavior.
Yeah.
It's a very tough case. If she's convicted of first-degree murder, then they go into a penalty phase regarding the death penalty. If domestic violence and sexual abuse and rage and all that is taken into consideration and the jury comes up with something less than first degree, then the case is over with. And I know the defense is pushing in that direction for a manslaughter rather than a murder.
How do you think the defense is doing right now?
Well, I mean, it's been a long defense. It's extraordinarily long compared to most cases. It'll be interesting to see. It's hard to know what's inside the head of the jurors because they seem to be very attentive to what's going on. But there are those who seem to be reenacting the trial on headline news and other places with a little bit of a tendency toward the prosecution. I don't know that that necessarily reflects what the jurors are thinking, but we will find out. Probably about mid-April it'll go to the jury.
Okay, well,
John,
thank you so much for
Indeed.
joining us this morning. We'll see you back here next Monday.
Indeed.
If you want to find out more about John Patrick Dolan, go to dolanlawoffices.com. The time right now, 26 minutes after the hour. Coming up, the morning's top news stories for you, plus an update on your lifestyle with a forecast you're watching KMIR 6 today.